Hello and welcome to another episode of the Reset Mantra with me, Sabina Maharjan. I am very excited about our guest today, Pratima Sherpa. She made a history as the first Nepali woman to represent Nepal in international golf, with her story also featured in an ESPN documentary. Competing in the LPGA Ipsen Tour and other prestigious tournaments, she has proudly showcased Nepal on the global stage. From overcoming humble beginnings to breaking barriers, Pratima is now dedicated to empowering youth and female golfers, inspire them to chase their dreams and reach new heights in the sport. So without further ado, please help me in welcoming Pratima Sherpa. Pratima, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. So excited to be here.
The feeling is absolutely mutual. I know we've been wanting to have this conversation for a while, so I really do appreciate you making the time, and I cannot wait to begin our conversation. So, as we were talking before we hit the record button, you made history to be nominated. So you made history earning the Forbes 30 under 30 title as a golfer at such a young age. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey from where you started to play golf and to your journey so far? I'm really curious to know, how did it all begin?
Yes, wow, it's been a long time I haven't shared my story. So I'm really excited, just to go back and then sharing everything. So I started playing golf when I was 10. And before that, I grew up at the golf course. So my dad made me like a branch golf club because, that time, like golf, even like right now, golf clubs are really expensive. And since I'm from underprivileged family, there was no way that I could afford actual golf club. So my dad would make me a branch club, and then I used to just like, hang around with that club, like hit some balls. Just like as a kid, you're just like walking to the course. And one time, one of the member from Nepal Golf Association, he saw me just swinging around with that branch club, and he was like, "Okay, I think you should come to the junior camp. We do it every Saturday. You should join it." And I remember I was so happy, like, oh my God, I can actually play actual golf now, like I couldn't sleep. Like it was just a whole excitement. And then later I realized I'm like, oh my God, I don't have any golf outfit, because in golf, like you need to have like a polo shirt and you cannot wear jeans. And I was like telling my dad, I'm like, Dad, I don't have any clothes. Like, like we gotta go buy the clothes, like golf outfit. So I remember on that Friday, because like Saturday was a camp day. So on Friday, we went to so many stores, but still we couldn't find anything, like especially for ladies. Like there was no polo shirt. And I just had that big shirt, like, I think it's a men's shirt or whatever, but I had like a big one shirt with the polo, and then still like I was so happy, like at least I was wearing it. So that was like my first time, swinging with the real club from 20, yeah. And then the first day I just hit great, like, I had the ball great. And everybody's like, "Oh, you have a great swing." As a kid, when people say like, "Oh, you're really good," then it just encourages you to like, "Oh, yeah, I'm good. I want to do better." From that, I just started like playing tournaments, just fun tournaments. And when I won my first tournament, I had a trophy and then also a bucket of like candy. I was so happy to get that candy. Like that was just like, oh my God, I want that candies, because as a kid, you just like, you don't care about the trophy. Like you just care about those candy sweets. And then I went back home. My mom started crying. It was just like happiness tears, like, and then that day I realized like, if I do good, then I can make my parents happy. Like, golf is a way that I can make my parents happy. So since that day, seeing my mom crying. It probably sounds weird, but like that kind of helped me to have a goal in my life. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I want to make my parents happy. Like that was the day that of course, I didn't tell anyone that this is my goal, blah, blah, blah. It was just like in my heart that one day I'm gonna make my parents proud and happy.
Hmm.
After that, just like, I was very lucky that I lived at the golf course, very fortunate because I could go to practice anytime, especially after school. It was just like 5 minutes walk to the golf course, like to the practice range. And then just, play a lot of tournaments, and
And you
then
said you
started
were
winning.
born in golf course, right? Like your
Well, I was born
parents
in the
used to work
hospital.
there. Okay.
Yeah, I was born in hospital. But my parents, they met at the golf course and so they were in like their early 40s. They were in love with each other and then they got married and they had me. And so everybody says like I'm a daughter of Royal Nepal Golf Club because that's the golf course
Oh,
name. So everybody like all the players, all the workers, they say like, oh, I'm a daughter of the golf course. Yeah. So from there, honestly, just like practicing hard and with all the support from players, like family, I got the opportunity to come over to the United States, played junior tournaments, then again went back to Nepal, and then just realized I'm like, okay, if I want to do something really nice or something like, good for my career, I need to come to United States. Like that's what I felt. So I came to the United States again, and I went to Cal State LA. They gave me full scholarship to play and to study. And then I graduated 2 years ago. And then I've been working with juniors and also playing golf.
no, that was lovely. Thank you for summarizing. I think I was very fascinated, like from the moment that you said like your parents they met at the golf club. This was at the Royal Nepal golf course in Nepal. Like when I was in Nepal, I know that golf was like a royal game, like it's a rich people's game. And I was telling you before that I don't remember. Maybe we drove by a golf course, but we never like, consciously thought, oh, there's a golf course or, what's this game? Like we were never curious about golf. We only saw it in news, maybe like a tournament but yeah, it's very fascinating that it sounds like you actually had this innate talent of golf, right? And you started at the age of 10. I mean, that's a very, very young age, right?
You just get used to it in like whatever around you, but
Mm-hmm.
for me, it was just like golf, like people playing golf, they're hitting shots and I used to just like watch and then thinking I'm like, oh, I can do better than them, like I used to think that when I was 10, I was like, oh, I can hit further than that because I didn't have clubs. So like, I just thought that it just looks so easy for me, as a kid, you know?
Yeah. And also something that really intrigued me was, sorry, I'm not going off topic, but you said your mom and dad, they were in their early 40s when they met, and then they had you after that, right? So I was just talking to you that, as someone who's in mid 30s, I often get asked when you're gonna get married and when you're gonna have kids. So thank you for sharing. I'm really hopeful that I still have a long time to have kids. Like it sounds like your parents also sounds like I've not met them that they already have some sort of mindset of breaking stereotypes, right? Like to have kids at that age and in the context of Nepal, like some years back, it sounds pretty daring to me. And therefore it sounds like your upbringing was, instilled with that daringness or bravery, I should say.
Yeah, definitely. I think whenever I feel weak, I always look at my parents because they're so strong. You know how in Nepal we have a caste system, right? Like Brahmin, they're a higher caste, and Sherpa is like, we're not, like Brahmin and Sherpa can't get married. That was all mindset. So back then, like it was hard for my mom, especially for my mom, like, coming from Brahmin family and to get married with Sherpa guy, it was just like my mom still talked about it because like she couldn't go to her own parents' house or, her relatives' house for 2 years because
Mm,
everybody said like, okay, now, like not you, like you're gone now, So
yeah.
that is just like such a daring, like, I don't know, people can't still, like even like right now, they cannot do it, they have like the family things, like, it's all about the like the culture. Like I don't want to make my parents, uh, shame. I guess that's the word, like how you get like shameful if you get married with a different class, which is all like, I don't even know, like still going on. And I hope one day it will change. But like, I am really proud of mom, and of course my dad, and just giving birth at like 40, I think 43 or 44. It's just crazy, you know? And, my mom shares all the time that how some of her friends actually kind of used to bully her. It's like, oh, like, your daughter is not gonna survive. Like, you're gonna die soon. Like, like everything, my mom still
Really?
has it. Yeah. When she sees me, like, I'm doing really good, the golf, and, they can visit to America and then kind of going back and forth. She feels very proud of, like, you proved them wrong. So that whole thing, like my parents' story, it always inspires me to do better. And of course, like, number one goal and my dream, just like to make them proud and happy.
So that actually worked as a fuel for you to kind of move forward and achieve, those achievements and make them feel so proud of. I do see that in your social media, like Instagram page, there this video where you were dancing with them, I think in one of the Dasai time. And it just really a bundle of joy. Like I think they're really cute. It's a really I think you've done a great job. I'm so proud of you for, taking this dream of making your parents happy. I think that's probably the biggest dream we can ever achieve, right? To make our parents happy. It sounds simple, but I feel like that's something a lot of people overlook in today's world, especially.
Definitely. Yeah. And even when I was kid, like my mom's friends, they used to, I don't know, kind of like bullying me too because I was very shy girl. Like I wouldn't talk. I would say whatever they would ask, like I would answer it, that's it. And they used to compare me with other kids and like, oh my God, because you give birth in such a, old age, now your girl is like this, your daughter is like this, she cannot do anything. Like I remember like, in front of my face saying it. And of course I was kid, so but I still remember it's still in my heart. And now I still like respect them, of course. They're my mom's friends. But it just feels so good to, just say, Namaste, how are you
Prove them wrong.
doing? Yeah, it's like feels so good because I don't have to say anything. I still respect them. And thanks to them that they kind of helped me, to just like, I guess like push myself. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna show you wrong. I'm gonna prove you wrong. So yeah, it just feels so good. And of course, like seeing my mom, like, my mom talks about me like all the time. It's like, oh, my daughter is da da da. But it feels good. It feels very proud. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, good job to you for, transforming all those challenges into your superpower right now, right? I think it takes a lot of courage actually, right? Not a lot of people are able to do that. Like sometimes when certain things, especially negative experiences happen in childhood, like we continue to carry them in and it affects our self-confidence, self-esteem, all right? But in your case, I think you've done a great job from what I see in turning all those obstacles, if I may say, into something positive and beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
very proud. Yeah, I feel proud too.
Yes, you definitely should be. Yes. So coming back to golf, right? Before I get into details, do you think golf is more of I know very less about golf. I know it looks really cool, but do you think golf is more of a physical game or a mental game?
I think golf is 90% mental game and 10% physical game. Because, golf is like, if you watch golf, it's kind of boring. Like you need to have like one player to follow all that round, like the whole day. Then that would be like, all right, I'm just following this person and then just watching their game. But if you want to like watch every players, it's just impossible, right?
Hmm.
And think about as an individual because as a golfer, like we need to compete. Like it's just like kind of competing with myself, like I'm competing with myself and just watch people watching all over here. And then we have to swing, like, it's all about taking back swing. Like you can go like 70-degree or like 80-degree. It has to be 60-degree and then coming down. It's just the whole focus. Like you need to have so much focus. That's why, you're not allowed to talk when they're swinging or when they're hitting balls. And sometimes they just like, sometimes they sneeze and it was like ball goes to the right side or left side. it's just like so much focus, like honestly, like 100% focused over there. It's like doing your yoga, like when we're doing yoga, like, yeah, like our body is also like we're moving our body, but also like, how you have to feel your like breathing, like how they practice that. It's kind of like that too. I think I
Mm,
see golf as like that too. Like, cause like
mm,
when I set up for golf, like, all right, I take my long breath and then I go back swing. And then again, like you have to feel it, like focus, it's not only about body. It's not about like, okay, going to basketball or football, like, yeah, like all hype up. You
mm,
can't do that. Yeah. You can't be
mm,
overexcited or you can be like, overconfident, So definitely
mm.
90% mental game. Yeah.
Yeah. So just like any, like you said, yoga or any physical movement, it's like that mind muscle connection is there. So golf's like, from what I heard, it's like that focus, that laser focus
Definitely.
and swinging with intention.
Yeah.
So,
And
uh,
again, if people like watch golf,
mhm.
you always feel like, oh, I can do better than that. It's just a hitting ball. I swear, everybody says that. Everyone says that, but it's actually, you need to like, you need to have practice and of course, like focus. So it is hard. Yes.
I mean, the closest to golf, I've not been to any real live golf game yet, like to watch or just observe. But the closest is the Top Golf, and I'm terrible at it. So I practice like a couple of hours, and I'm just not good at it at all. So, quick question: so, at such a young age, how do you manage to continue to have that laser focus and that calm or collectedness to continue with these games that you play? Like, is there
It's
sort of a
so
mantra or maybe like a mental rehearsal or a self-talk, pep talk that you do to set your intention before any big game?
Yeah, it's so interesting because when I started like at 10, right, I started playing a lot of tournaments and that time, like I never knew about this calmness or like, focus. Like honestly, I was just playing golf. Like as a kid, I was just playing golf. I didn't know about like anxious or like pressure, like, whole thing. I never thought about it. And then eventually, like, there I started playing like a little big tournament. And then that's where I'm like, I want to win this tournament. It just like came automatically. And I started writing. I was like, okay, like, what do I want to get this tournament? Or like, what's my goal? And I kind of made my own culture or made my own mantra, just writing down, like for example, if it's Saturday, if I'm playing a tournament and I have to go to the golf course at 8 a.m., I would get up at 5 a.m. writing my goals. I'm like, okay, and this hole I want to shot this, this hole I want to shot this, and I want to win this tournament. Please God help me. And then I would fold that paper and then just put into the close to the temple or just like wherever the god is, like in our house, like we all have our like god's, how do you say, like god's
Like a prayer
temple, like
area?
in the prayers
Yeah.
area. Exactly, I would put it over there and it just would work. And then and then I was like, I'm gonna do that every day. So, and of course I didn't tell anyone because I thought like if I tell anyone then it's just gonna destroy, so I was like, it's my secret. So that was my, like, I did it for 2 or 3 years. And then I think after that, then I started realizing, okay, I need to actually practice. How do I stop thinking like negative things? Because you have to walk in golf course, like, you hit one shot and then you have to walk at least like for 2 minutes you have, or 3 minutes you have to walk. So between that, I used to just think negative things, like, oh, what if I lose this tournament? Oh, what if I hit the tree or whatever, all the negatives. So I was like, how do I practice? Like, just to think positive rather than negative. And that's where I started to doing like meditation every morning. That's where I was like, okay, let me try this. And then of course, meditation, it's so hard. It's so hard to focus. I tried, I think like for 15 days. And then I thought I tried it. And then after 15 days, of course, I was like, oh, this is not going to work out now, and then I started like listening to song, like some energetic, like, just like whatever song, like either Nepali, English or Spanish, whatever, whichever is give me like a little energy. I would listen that. And then eventually I started talking on the course with with my God, like of course like nobody sees it, but I just started talking with it and it just made me feel so much better. And I just thought like, you know, God is gonna be with me wherever I go and I'm just gonna talk positive about it. So it just like the step by step, because at first I never thought about anything. And then second, I kind of like, all right, like, writing my goals and then my dreams. And then after that, really thinking about, okay, how can I think positive? Like how can I practice, like the positive mindset? So kind of went by step. Yeah. But
Mm,
it is definitely hard. It's not easy for sure.
right. I totally agree that. I feel like it's okay, you are in this positive state, it works. And then right after that moment, right? Like, how do you continue to be in that state of positivity throughout the day, next day, weeks, and months, right? That it's like continuous work that we have to put in, right? Like, be it in the form of meditation or relaxing our nervous system, like you said, like listening to music. I like to believe that we all have this energetic field that we live in, there's some sort of guidance, and it's all about belief. I mean, if it's an atheist, they might have a different source of higher power that they believe in. If we believe in God, you believe it, it works for you. Whatever you believe in, right? It works for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. My
Yeah.
coach from college, he used to make fun of me as a funny way, because I used to talk on the course and then just like using my hand. I don't know, but I don't remember like what I did. I was just like talking and I was just like walking and then that. And then it's like, you're a different person in course. It is so funny. And then one time I think my coach showed me a video. I'm like, "Whoop, that is right. Like, yeah, I don't remember doing that, but I guess,
Were you like
yeah.
negotiating with God or
I
convincing him something?
probably, yeah. I think I was probably, funny thing is I actually do it. I was like, okay, God, like if you like give me, so in golf you say like par, birdie, like that's the score. So I would say like, all right, God, I need par. If you give me par, okay, I'll go to the temple. Like that's how I used to say, kind of like negotiating. Yeah, I used to do that.
Right, totally. Yes, that's very interesting. So when you moved to States, how was that experience like, playing golf back home, playing with the university here in America? How did you navigate with that transition, I guess?
Honestly, it was like a crazy experience for me. Cause like I didn't know what to expect, like there was no expectations. I just knew that it's gonna be so much different and I'm ready for it. Like that's what like
Mm,
my mindset was. Coming here to that state, of course, language, like I just remember like people talking to me, they used to talk so fast. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. Like, yeah, like first language and then culture, food and then golf course, so like whole the combination of all that shocking part, it was just like, okay, like I'm in a like, different world, that's how I felt. And specifically talking about the golf course, I grew up at Nepal Golf Club and I know that golf course very, very well. Like, I played there for more than 15 years. So I know like how many trees are there. I know where the water are, like everything. So never realized about like a course management or like score management, like I didn't learn over there. I knew the golf course. I knew like what clubs I need to hit. So used to and so comfortable. And then coming over here, it's like there are so many golf courses and their design are so different. Some of them are
mm,
like a big water or like big trees, and some of them are like really long. So that's where I'm like, oh my God, like I don't know. I have no idea anything about like course management. Like how do I manage my score? Like how do I manage this game? So that was very shocking to me that even though people would say I was the number one female golfer in Nepal and coming over here, I was like, no, I don't know anything about golf. I just know how to hit balls, but that is not enough. So that's where I learned a management. Honestly, in life and golf, like both sides. Even though I came from underprivileged family, I was very spoiled from my parents, and I'm very grateful for that. So just coming over here by yourself, it was also, like it was hard, like really hard, like just like having questions like, did I do like this right? I just want to go back home and just be with my parents. Like I don't want to do this homework or I don't want to eat this food, and then just like being you're so lonely, like it was hard. I remember just like crying and then writing all the notebooks. Sometimes I do read it, it's just like now it's like so funny to read it,
Hmm.
but it was hard, and I'm glad I experienced that, but definitely hard.
Hmm. Yeah. And then, so your recognition for Forbes 30 under 30, how did that come about? Like, was it after you moved to US or like how did that start?
Yeah, so that time, during COVID, a lot of people struggled, including myself. I love my parents, so I was very worried about my parents, and my mental health was just like down. Like it was not this Pratima. It was just a different. I just have a very like, I don't know, so many insecurities. I'm like, oh my God, what's gonna happen to my parents? And that time I couldn't even travel because everything was closed. I was like not in a good situation. And that's where my article came out, that Forbes 30 under 30. And honestly, it was just like, I remember like kind of like, I was in like a dark place. Like I had my family, like my American family, they were there for me, but just like inside that fear for my parents, I was just in a like very dark place. And then just like, I remember, my friend, I think, yeah, my friend texted me like, hey, have you seen my Instagram? And then, when I saw that article, I was just just like, oh my God, I'm golfer. I forgot about that. I'm a golfer. Like what? Like, and then it just like came back to me, like my goals, my dreams. So, yeah, it was that 4:30 on the 30. Honestly, it was my lifesaver. Like, just kind of like, pushing myself, like, hey, like, wake up. Yeah, so it's I feel very proud. And, not only for me, but also for my country, Nepal. I had no idea. Out of nowhere, it's just like, it's kind of like God giving me, here you go, like,
Like
okay. Yeah,
a
so
reminder, like, hey, by the
exactly.
way,
Yes.
moving on, you were invited by Tiger Woods to meet him. Can you tell us a little bit about that story? I'm really curious to know a
No,
little
as
bit
you can
more.
see me, I'm just taking a long break here.
I mean, keeping aside his personal life story, I think professionally he's celebrated, right?
Yeah. So, Tiger, like you say, you didn't know about golf, but you read about Tiger Woods, so that shows like Tiger Woods was not like, not only in America, but honestly, like around the world, and not only to golfers, So as a golfer, Tiger Woods was like my hero, You see, like I used to see like a lot of YouTube videos, not like my friends or all the brothers, or like my friends, brothers, they used to show me like, oh, this is the like number one golfer in the world, Like I just remember like seeing his shots, his swing. And I was in New York for my documentary, Mountain to Climb. We had they were just showing a premiere, in New York. And one of the guy, he just asked me like randomly, like, I really love this story. I'm so proud of you. Who is your favorite golfer? And I say Tiger Woods. That's it. Like, that's the only word I said. And next day, I was just getting up and I checked my phone, and then I see the email. It's like, oh, you're going to Florida to meet with Tiger Woods. It was just like, what? I couldn't like believe it. Even like when I tell myself like right now, I'm like, that's, that sounds like a dream right now. Like, what? Yeah. So that night, that day, my American sister, Sophia, we went to Florida from New York. And then next day, Tiger Woods and then his, team members were there. Well, Tiger Woods was not there first, like his team members were there. And then they were saying like, oh, you're gonna meet them only for 2 minutes, he's gonna take a picture. He's gonna say hi and then take a picture. And then I said like, do I need to wear shoes? Or because it was really hot. And then it's like, oh, you don't have to wear shoes. Like it's just gonna be right over here. So I'm like, all right, cool. And I was like literally from Nepal. Like I was like very innocent. Like, I had no idea. I'm just like, just knowing that I'm meeting Tiger Woods, that was the only, the excitement I had. And I was just like talking with the team members, and then Tiger Woods comes from like back, I had no idea. And then, hi, Pratima, like so casually, And then I just
Mm.
remember like, oh my God, Tiger would just like pronounce my name. Oh my God. And just like seeing his face, just like over there, it's like, oh my God, he's real. It's real. So I had a hat from Royal Nepal Golf Club, so I gave it to him, as a gift. And he said like, I cannot wait to watch you in the course. Let's go to the course. That's
Mm.
where all the media and all people, they were like running because he was in the cart, so I just like jumped in his cart and then we went to the range, and so everybody was just like running because nobody was expecting, that he would like tell me like go to the range. So yeah,
Yeah.
we went to the range and I got to hit balls with his clubs. He was like, here you go, all you, like, you can hit whatever clubs you want. I was like, and then I remember just looking at like, oh, wow, like just it was just like a dream. And I was hitting balls and he is like, you have a great swing. And then he did fix some of my swing, like give me advice. And then we went to like his all the other members were there too, and he was like, do you want to hit drivers in front of them? And I was like, sure, never say no to golf, so sure, of course. And then I went there. I still have a video on Instagram. Went there, it was a tiger with like long driver, how tall he is, and I'm short, so like it was a
What's a
very long.
driver?
Sorry, driver is a club where you hit like the furthest. So
Okay.
it's called driver. Yeah. So he gave me that driver and I was just like, setting up right there. And then in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm going to hit to Tiger's head because Tiger's was like right in front of me. Oh my God. Like I promise I was just like thinking about that, I'm like, oh my God. Like the pressure, like I've never felt that pressure ever, So I was just like, oh, yeah, I got this. But I don't think you can see in my face, but like inside, I know I saw. And I hit that great shot. And everybody was like clapping. And then he gave me a high five. Uh,
That's wonderful. I mean,
wow.
just by hearing that, give me goosebumps. Imagine like seeing your role like an idol right in front of you and then, swinging with him. It sounds like really amazing. So what kind of advice did he give you? Like, what do you remember out of this conversation or meet up with him that has stayed with you?
He gave me like some golf advice, with my swing, and all. But also he said that you need to enjoy the course, not golf, but you need to enjoy the environment. Like when you're walking, like enjoy that because not everyone get the chance to play on the course. So he said that just enjoy every moment. Like if you're like end up in the sand, golf course, they have a sand. Like, if you end up in the sand, like be grateful. You can hit from bunker. And then just enjoy every trees, like if you ever feel pressure, like count the trees and then, like smell, like try to engage with the course, not with the golf. I think that's the one advice that I always take it. I was like, you're right. So whenever I have a bad day, anything, it's like realizing like, hey, not everybody had this, like opportunity to be here and just like gotta be grateful for whatever you have. So I think we talk a lot, but I think that's the number one that I will always remember. That just
Mm.
enjoying and being grateful for everything.
I I think I may have mentioned you when we first chatted that when I was a student back in Nepal, probably like 10, 11. I don't remember how old was I. We used to have this daily newspaper, the Himalayan Times, and in the middle section, maybe like page 3, 4, there was a big picture of Tiger Woods, and he was, I think, number one back then. Or I don't know what's the rank now. And there was a quote that he said, and it was something like, obstacles. I actually wrote it down. Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off the goal. Now, I know he said it in the context of golf, but I think it really resonated with me because often, like when we're going after something, any goal, right? We see more challenges than the goal. So it was like a reminder for me. So I remember like cutting a piece of it and putting in my wall, just like sticking that newspaper. So that's one specific event from my past that I remember about Tiger Woods. So when you mentioned about like, and I saw it in your Instagram too, your picture with him, I was like very, very curious. So I know that, you also mentioned that you've been featured in an ESPN documentary. I don't know how much we have time to talk about it, but do you think you can summarize? Is there anywhere that people can probably watch the documentary as well? Like, would you share a little bit about it?
Yeah, so my documentary called A Mountain to Climb, you can watch on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's on YouTube and it was featured in 2017, no, 2016 or 2017. So it's been a long time. You will just see, if you watch that documentary, you will just see that Pratima, what I was talking about, that
Mm.
innocent Pratima I talk about. And now you see it and you probably find it very different because now like I'm more confident. I can share my experience, and I think I give like a positive vibe. But in that documentary, that girl is shy. That girl is, that girl's still confident, but like, she still had doubts. Yeah. So you'll just see a difference.
I'll make sure to put that link in the show notes below so people can watch it. I know I'm definitely gonna watch it this weekend. So Pratima, like I know, you've definitely accomplished a lot at such a young age. What do you think is next for you? Like, are you looking forward to any bigger tournaments? It's like, where do you want to get to? I'm not gonna say like 5 years or 10 years from today, but what are you looking forward to, or what's next for Pratima?
Yes. So I want to compete as a professional. So, which is actually going really well. I'm going to be professional very soon and, I want to play out and represent my country and play more tournaments. And also, I want to have my own foundation or like academy, golf academy. That's gonna be long-term goal, but that is my dream to have it where all the, especially underprivileged kids can come and I can help them so I can give back to my country and give back to the people. So that's my goal and that's my dream. Yeah.
What's the most interesting thing you're working on right now?
I'm so excited to share that we are hosting another Nepal Women's Open Golf Tournament in March. And I'm going to Nepal after a long time. So that's like number one goal right now that I've been working on. And I'm so, so, so excited. Yeah. So if you're in Nepal, please come to watch at Roll Nepal Golf Club in March 4th and 5th. Yeah. So in 2022, when I was in Nepal for summer break, me and my two friends, Arshia, Banu and Sarita Srigawali, we, we hosted the first ever, Nepal Women's Golf Tournament. So I was a, co-organizer, from that, like we wanted to do annually. And of course I couldn't go back home last year. So this time it's gonna be the second one that we're hosting. So, but we hope to host like annually like from
Mm.
this year. So yeah, so
That sounds really interesting.
it's gonna be all women, and in Nepal, like people still don't know about like golf, and especially if you like female golfers. So it's like you're gonna see at least 50 female golfers just competing with each other in Nepal.
I'm really curious to know, let's say if there was no golf, what do you think would your other sport or career be?
I wouldn't be in sports at all, like that. If golf was not there, not at all. I think I'll be a teacher because even as a kid, when I was, I think grade two or something, like I used, I remember like just telling my parents, like, I want to be a teacher. I looked in the mirror and then I just like pretend like as a teacher. So I think I would be a teacher. I don't know. It's like, my career, I don't know. I can't even tell. Like, I just remember that, not remember. I just know that I'll be a teacher. But other than that, like, I don't see myself as like a successful person. Like, I don't know. It doesn't come into my mind for some reason. Yeah.
You cannot imagine anything else.
No, I can't imagine. Like, yeah, I'm like trying to think. I was like,
Mm.
maybe I'll be married by now. I don't know. Because in Nepal, it's like so common.
Yeah.
Like in this age, maybe. Yeah, but no, I don't think like I would be like this strong. I would be just I don't know, just
Mm,
going with the flow as teacher, I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
What do you think you would be teaching if you were a teacher?
Probably that's a good question, actually. I don't know. I like social studies, those stuff. Like I do like it. I don't like math, so definitely not math teacher, but probably like Nepali or like social studies, like those kind of subject. Yes. Not science
Mm,
either.
mm, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a
Well,
very
that
good question though. That's a very good question.
uh
Now I'm gonna be thinking, I'm like,
yeah, I think this is wonderful. I wish like we have more time. I think we'll definitely need to invite you back for like, continuous discussions because I still have like so many questions that I want to chat with you, but it's been such a joyful and delightful conversation chatting with you throughout this whole time.
thank you so much for having me. Honestly, it gave me like that energy. I'm like, oh my God, like, just talking about myself. It's been a long time. Like, I haven't talked about myself. So
Mhm.
now realizing, like, all right, I need to be grateful for, whatever I have. It's another reminder for me. So thank you so much.
Yeah, the pleasure's all mine. Thank you so much again. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Reset Mantra. I really appreciate it. If you're new here, please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave me a review. I absolutely love reading them, and it helps the people join our little community, which is always a good thing. Thank you so much for tuning into the Reset Mantra, and I will catch you next time.